All right, let's take you back to our developing story now. Families of the 3 police constables whose bodies were retrieved earlier this week from the Hennops River in Centurion say they will travel back to Pretoria to collect the remains of their loved ones. SABC News reporter Kamogelo Seekoe is in Bloemfontein and joins us live now. Kamogelo, very good afternoon to you. So earlier on, of course, we saw that, you know, the friends and family started speaking to you about how relieved they were of hearing the news of the car that was retrieved. Of course, also hearing from the police commissioner saying that it does bring some sort of relief, albeit a very sad one. Just talk to us about how the friends and family are holding up at this stage.
Well, Lunati, you can just imagine today being one of those sad days for the family. Earlier we were at the prayer session that was hosted by Buamba Basadi, an organization that advocates for gender-based violence. We saw various pastors from different churches and different denominations just giving the families, support and comfort, in this time where they've just learned of the passing of their loved ones. But the news, of course, of the vehicle being found, when I spoke to them, it had not yet been verified that the vehicle that was found in the Hennops River was indeed the vehicle that they were traveling in. And when I spoke to them, they had indicated that as things are unfolding, they are finding comfort and they are finding closure, because initially they didn't know where their loved ones had ended up, but having recovered their bodies from the river, and now having the news that the vehicle that they were traveling in also has been recovered, it brings a sense of comfort for them, because they know what happened. One of them even saying that now they understand that this was an accident that happened to their loved ones, and there was no sinister things that happened. You can imagine the conspiracies that had come out of this when the news of their of them going missing had come out, that everyone had their own opinions and had their own ideas of what might have happened to them. But the families are saying that this really brings to them a sense of relief, because they know exactly what happened. In fact, now I'm standing outside of the Seekoe family here in Rocklands, where the 3 families are meeting. They have indicated that they will be discussing a joint funeral, and I believe that at this moment that is what they are discussing. I briefly spoke to Tate Sipho Linda, who is the uncle to Constable Tebekulu Linda, about the meeting, and he indicated that they are still busy talking about when the remains of their loved ones will be collected, and how the funerals of the 3 constables will be arranged. We're just waiting for them just to also get a reaction from them now that the vehicle has been confirmed to be the one that the 3 constables were traveling in. With that, is back to you, Unati.
In fact, Kamogelo, before I let you go, earlier on we heard from the Deputy Police Minister, Poli Bushielo, and she was saying that the 3 police officers will be given a dignified funeral, and of course in accordance with the SAPS. Just talking about the kind of support that the families have been receiving, particularly in Bloemfontein, just speak to us about how the community has really rallied behind the 3 families.
Natu, I'm actually having a difficult time hearing you, but I think you are asking about the people who were at the prayer service. If I got that from you, I'm really having a difficult time hearing what you are saying here. Well, we saw people from the organization itself, Buamba Basadi. The family members were there from the 3, the Linda family, the Seekoe family, as well as the Base family. We actually spoke to the sisters as well of the 2 female constables, who are saying that they really lost people who were friends to them. Even the messages of support that was coming from the premier, just comforting the families, and how this is not just something that is affecting the families, but it's affecting the entire community of Bloemfontein and the community of the Free State. Of course, the community, you know, the country as it is, at some point had to come to a standstill to really talk about. This has been one of the most topical stories this week, about where exactly did these people or these constables end up. But the Premier really there also highlighting the fact that these three constables had a bright future in the police service, because you remember that two of them were deployed in Limpopo, where they are part of, or were part of Operation Vala Umkoti, which monitors illicit mining in that area. And I mean, we've heard from some of the people who know Constable Boipelo Sonoge, who was based here at the Park Road police station in Bloemfontein, talking about the fact that she had such a bright future in the police service. Even this morning, when we spoke to her parents, you know, her father there indicating that she actually wanted to join the military when she completed her matric, but because she couldn't get into the military, they actually encouraged her to be part, or rather to apply for the police service, and that's where she got in. So she was someone who really loved being in the service of the country, and she was so fortunate to be part of the South African police service. Unati?
All right, let's leave it there. Kamogelo, thank you so much for that. Of course, Kamogelo Seekoe is at the mass prayer gathering that was held today to support the families of the three deceased police officers at the Hoffman Square in Bloemfontein. Of course, it is a tragic, end, that discovery. In fact, the National Police Commissioner, General Fani Masemola, saying that it is a painful relief that the car has now been recovered. Of course, those visuals that you're seeing there are from earlier on, around about 2 hours ago. In fact, the search for the missing vehicle came to an end. Of course, police confirming too that the wreckage of that vehicle was the same VW Polo carrying the three police officers who went missing last Wednesday. At the scene just moments ago, Premier Panyaza Lesufi, the National Police Commissioner, as well as the Deputy Police Minister, spoke to the media, and of course the General Fani Masemola making very important points there, saying that the car looks like it may have overturned or flipped before it hit the embankment there, and then ultimately crashing into the river. Of course, we'll continue then to give you just updates around how police are now investigating this case, because as we also understand it, the police will continue with their culpable homicide investigations, but we'll continue to keep you abreast about all of these developments.